Hello and welcome to All the Stitches. My name is Colleen and I'm coming to you from the Lakes region of New Hampshire in the United States. I am so out of practice that you don't know how many times I had to record that first line, but that's beside the point. Anyway, this is episode 51 and Flosstube number 20. If you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. And this is a podcast or channel, I should say a channel, not a podcast, about quilting and cross-stitch and all kinds of other crafts. Today I'm going to be talking about and showing some cross-stitch, kind of cross-stitch, and quilting. I think that's all I have. Maybe some sewing. Haven't been with you in a while. I know I said I'd come back, but I didn't. Eventually I did. I had my last episode, I believe, in October, was going to do one in November, never got around to it. Quite frankly, here's my excuse. I won't kid around. Lost my stitching mojo. Really did. Still did a little bit, but honestly, I'll just say, the way things have played out in this world, in this country, I lost it, probably like many of you. I envy those who can just put all of your thoughts into those fun things and don't lose, and it doesn't lose the appeal for you. Mine did for a while, but I'm back and feeling better as a result. And I hope you're all doing well. We'll talk a little bit at the end, but I think I will go right ahead and show you what I've been doing. I have some finishes and I have some works in progress. And so first I will start with cross stitch. I finished my temperature cross stitch. This, I'm sorry, my town, I blocked it out with a piece of paper because we are on the internet and it is 2025 and therefore I didn't want to put my town out there. But this is the Flying Geese cross stitch. I believe it's called the Flying Geese Temperature Cross Stitch by Stitched Modern. And I finished it. I finished the stitching on New Year's Day. I was so pleased with myself. And then I did the finish on it. I obviously made it into a little quilt, which I like to do. And I think what I really like about this is the way the first month, so January, there's a J there. I'm not sure how well you can see it. The geese fly this way, then they turn around and they come back this way, and then we come to February, so you see the F. But I think that was really fun. It was a fun way to do that. I was surprised how small the finished piece was. So I just made a little quilt out of it. I have the 2024 here. And what to say about it? I did it on 16 count Aida, just white Aida. And as I say, finished it into a quilt. And this is the way I felt about it. I really like it. I really like the overall. I like the design. If you haven't checked out Stitched Modern, their website, check it out. I like that it is modern. Their designs are very clean looking, like this, you know. But it's only 9 stitches a day. And I didn't do it. I started out doing it. And then I got to be like, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks, I caught up. Because 365 days, or 366 days, because 2024 was a leap year. That's a lot of days to pick up the same thing. But anyway, it's done. I'm really happy with it. I used some batik fabrics to surround it. And yep, it's good. I'm done with my one and only temperature project. I know people make temperature quilts, temperature blankets. I think I'm done. Yeah, I'm good with that. So that's that. My next one. Okay. My next two, I'm just going to tell you, I'll warn you here. If you are sensitive to sweary words, I won't say the words, but I will tell you when I show you the piece. If you want to look away, look away. I'm not sensitive to those things. But it kind of reflects, it reflected my mood. And that's why I've done them. I've done 2 of them. I'm almost done with the 3rd. I won't show you that one. But I'll show you these. So these are from Subversive Crossstitch. So if you're familiar with them, you'll know what I'm talking about. So this one I did in November of 2024. Okay, look away if you're really, honestly, if you're sensitive to sweary words. Look away. You don't have to see it. You don't need it in your life. If you're like me, come take a look. This is Vote. And once again, I surrounded it by fabric and made it into a little quilt. This is also on 16 count Aida. And again, it is by Subversive Crossstitch. Okay, sensitive folks, it is now off the screen. But I have another one, so hold on. Christmas came, and honestly, I wasn't really in the mood for it. Sometimes I'm not, sometimes I am, but this year was not. And this is also from Subversive Crossstitch, and I don't know, working on these things made me feel better for some reason. It was like, I didn't have to say the words. I stitched the words, and that somehow empowered me. If you understand that, let me know in the comments below. But here's my little Christmas stitch this year, because I wasn't into all the sweet little Santas and all the cute Christmas stitches this year. I was into this. So I'm going to put it up on 3. 1, 2, 3. Here it is. And once again, it says it all. It really does. It was my mood. What can I say? Check out Subversive Crossstitch online. They have so many funny, they're not all that bad. But they really have so many really funny and clever pieces. They're very quick to stitch, and it's very satisfying. Like I say, satisfying little statement you can put on your wall. I'm cleaning it up. This is one, it's not fully finished, but I finished the stitch. And I am so happy with it. This is Northern Lights. Oops. I meant to bring my clips over here and clip it on. This is Northern Lights it was from a Just Cross Stitch magazine in October 2021. And I love moose. If you've been following me, you know how I love my moose. And it's all black, 310 DMC, and 2 shades of gray. The fabric, which is very interesting, is from a company on Etsy called Adventures in Cross Stitch. Get back there. And it is 14 count. The color is slime. I looked forever for something that looked like Northern Lights. I don't really think this looks like Northern Lights, but it was as close as I could come. Here's another piece of the fabric. So you can see it went very light green to very dark. And although I had my doubts about it, in the end, I am very, very happy with my moosey Northern Lights. Even though it won't stay out. Two more cross stitches. I nearly forgot. I have another finish. These are, I should say, the Autumn Day Ornaments, or this is the Autumn Day Ornaments from Sew Emma. And instead of putting them in the tart pans, this is what I did with them. Hard to show them all, but here they are. Here's the little cup, the pumpkin, the acorn, the pie, the pumpkin pie, and the leaf. And I got this, as I've mentioned in past videos, I got this funny little piece from Rite Aid at the drugstore, local drugstore, where the aisle where they have all the sort of cheap, you know, holiday and seasonal stuff. And it said the word harvest was painted on it. And I just covered up each letter with these little stitches. And I stitched this on 25 count. Yeah, 25 count something. It was kind of a natural color. None of it shows, it's all full coverage. But that was the size that fit into the middle of the leaf. So that's what I used. So I was really happy to get those done. I started those last fall and put them away after the fall and then finished them up this year. So that is my final cross-stitch finish. I have a work in progress. Like I said, I've come back to my stitching and wanted to do something really fun and cute. And so I started the Silver Creek samplers. Oh boy, let me take this out of the package. Silver Creek samplers. This is Fred's unifying question. Of course it says, will you be my neighbor? And there's little Fred. Mr. Rogers Fred. And of course I love sheep, as some of you know. And so it's been fun. I'm not even going to take it out of the Q-snap because this is as much as I've done. It's working up pretty quick. I love the fabric. And I can tell you what it is, I think. It is from Fiber on a Whim. And it is 16 count Aida. And the color is Cornflower. I'm enjoying this. Called for colors. Other works in progress. I have been doing some wool appliques, inspired by my friend Gloria, who's a wonderful wool applique artist, I call her. She does beautiful work. So I found a pattern that I loved. It's called What's Up Buttercup. What's Up Buttercup is from Jerome Thomas Designs. Look how sweet. And here's my start. It adhered everything down. So I've done a lot of the blanket stitch around the pieces, but I have to finish that and then add some embroidery to it. But it's really fun. They go really quickly. And it'll be a little banner. And I did make a visit to the shop in Maine called Camp Wool. Now, if you're local around here or around Maine, you know where that is. You know what it is. And it is fabulous. It is not only this kind of wool, but there's also fabric for sewing, for quilting. There's punch needle. There's wool for braided rugs, I think. Was there wool for braided rugs? There was all kinds of stuff. It was fabulous. Take a ride if you're in the area, if you're in Maine. Talk about wool applique. I've shown you this in the past. This is a pattern called Evergreens. It's a quilt from the Woolen Needle. And it's wool on cotton. And I've been working on these trees for ages. And I finally finished them and put the quilt together. Now it's not quilted, but I'm going to go and get it and I will show as much to you as possible. I'll take a photo of it too and insert that. I'll take a photo of it. It'll be better. So I'm going to bring that to be machine quilted at the Long Arm Quilters, and that will be a finish. Another quilt finish I have is one that I kind of made up. I was inspired. My sister and I at Christmas took a sister's trip, which we never do, or we don't do enough, and we went to Providence, Rhode Island to see the musical Hamilton. And it was fabulous. It was a wonderful experience to see it live. I have seen it when it was on Disney Plus. It may still be on, I'm not sure. But anyway, I was very inspired, and I absolutely love their logo. And so I made it into a quilt. So I just used batiks, the yellow gold and the black are batiks. And I just blew the design up and cut it out like a silhouette and laid it down in as its raw edge applique. So I used a fusible, pressed it down, and then stitched along all around the edges of everything. And then quilted it. And I did a facing instead of a separate binding. I faced it. That's hard to see. But I just wanted those clean edges without a binding or a border. Just a fun little thing. It's like a memory for that wonderful journey to see Hamilton. If you have a chance, see it. See it live if you can. This is not the original cast, but they're fabulous. And I think it had a lot of extra meaning now, considering what our founding fathers went through. I continue to work on the Temecula album quilt, which is this, from the Temecula Quilt Company. And I've been working on this with 4 friends. We're all working on different quilts, but the same patterns. And we've broken it down by month. And it's, in the end, we made it into an 18-month block of the month. So there are several blocks per month. But here's some of my latest blocks. I have a bunch cut out. I have to get back to that. These little baskets. How adorable. Here's this block. I like that block. This was challenging. I haven't hand appliqued in a long time, so here's what I did with the friendship block. Now the design is this friendship in the middle and the little vase with the flower, and up here was this long stem with a zillion leaves on it, and I decided I'd had enough of this block, so I just made little hexagons, and that's all I'm doing with it. So that's the end of that one. I was glad to get this one done. Oh, I have so many more than I thought. I have this. I don't remember the names of them, and it doesn't really matter, does it? These little stars are so cute. And this little thing. And the pine tree. The tree of life, or whatever they call it. Always love that block. It's a lot of points, man. So those are my unsewn, yet to be sewn together pieces, blocks, I should say. And then I'll show you parts of the quilt. I have shown it before, but I think it's bigger than it was last time. Doing it, but man, it's a lot of work. It's a lot more work than I thought it would be. But it's great to do it with friends. And we compare them, how far we've gone, and one girl has finished hers. There's always one in every crowd. But we're not supposed to be finished until, I want to say, this summer, whatever. I'll finish when I'm finished. That is all that I have for you. That is all. I'm just going to check my notes here. I have some sewing little. These are being done for my quilt guild, and we've been making these little baskets, boxes, whatever you want to call them. Cute little thing to maybe put beside your sewing machine or whatever, throw your scissors in or whatever. And just 2 fun fabrics. Sewn together. There's some like a Pellon interfacing, a thick stuff pressed on here. These are all over online. You can find them, I'm sure. But just in general, we're cutting 10-inch squares of fabric, laying them right sides together, pressing on the fusible on one side, on one of the fabrics. I think the outside fabric. And then you stitch all the way around the edges. You know, when it's flat, stitch just around the edges, catch the edges. I should have left one undone. Then I stitch, imagine this flat. Then I stitch 2 inches in from the edge all the way around, and then take those corners and fold those corners together and measure 2 inches. Like this is a 2-inch square measured. Fold them together, stitch them. It's stitched right here, makes these little wings. Do the opposite one, and then do this one, and then the opposite one. And they just fold up on their own, really. Fun little thing, little gifts. You can put things in them, give them as gifts. Make little Easter baskets, if you wish. Because it's coming, spring's coming. That's all I've been doing. I think that's probably enough for now. But I did want to read you something. And I know everyone has their own opinions. And this isn't really an opinion video. But I read something, and it's something that helped me. So I'd really like to read it to you. And I'll leave you with this. This is something written by Rebecca Solnit, S-O-L-N-I-T, Solnit. And she wrote, "They want you to feel powerless and surrender and let them trample everything, and you are not going to let them. You are not giving up, and neither am I. The fact that we cannot save everything does not mean we cannot save anything. And everything we can save is worth saving." I hope that means as much to you as it does to me. And until I see you next time, may all your stitches bring joy.